Makes weird stuff? That's
Yeah.
What, on camera. Wow. We probably don't have anybody watching today because this is like a extracurricular. But this is how we do it, so we don't have to edit. We just run it live and then post it.
Hello, everybody.
Hello! Welcome to an episode of... Alright, we're live. Can we be quiet for a minute?
It's a good quilting pattern. It's a good quilting pattern over there.
It'd just be for a couple minutes. Normally I would say hello, welcome to Shenanigans, but we're starting something new. We still haven't figured all the details yet, but...
We're getting there.
We have a, instead of Becky, who usually does our shenanigans, though Becky's in the house. What, Becky?
What?
Oh. We have Ashley. So Ashley came to the store, about a month ago.
Yeah.
And she's asking all these questions, and I'm like, you know how to sew clothes? And she's like, yes. I'm like, you want to be our clothing person?
Yes. So I'm here.
Yes.
I'm here to help.
So what we were actually supposed to do a class today, but nobody signed up because, we're so renowned for our classes in clothing here that, everybody was jumping all over it. But we thought, we didn't have anybody sign up for the class. We were going to do a quick kind of a live feed because we, as a quilt shop, we also sell sewing machines. Mm-hmm. And you can do more than make quilts with sewing machines. So we thought that would be a lot of fun to get into other things.
Such as, cosplay, wearables, costuming. There's a lot of super exciting fun stuff that you can get into. But one of the main things is why should you get into cosplay?
Because you probably have kids that are going to want you to make costumes. I wish I had met you 5 years ago because I have a kid that, when they're younger, we've been to a couple of the anime conventions, the Comic-Con stuff, and I've had to make costumes.
It's a very important part of the experience.
Yes. And being the father with a sewing machine, I was told to make certain things, and it was a fun experience, but there's a lot of interesting things that can be learned from it.
Yes.
And we just thought it would be a great... Are you all right, Eddie?
Yeah.
We just thought it'd be a great addition to the store to kind of add that to a repertoire and to teach people, what else you can do with your machine. Plus, from a business standpoint, how old are you, Ashley?
29.
29. That's a very important demographic because you see everybody else that watches this, and probably if you're watching it right now, you're probably 50 plus if the demographics don't lie. Odds are you're probably 65 plus. It's not a bad thing. But it's important to keep the kind of sewing tradition alive. And the younger kids, costumes and wearables is way more fun for some people than quilts.
Yeah. But even, somebody who has good quilting experience is going to bang out a good costume. Especially, like you're saying, it's so good if you've got your grandkids. Because, man, you're going to get in their good graces. It's so good for, if you're going to go to some sort of convention and you want to actually experience the whole vibe, you're gonna experience so much more and get so much more out of it whenever you show up and you have put a little effort into, even if you're just wearing a shirt that you've made, that that you've cut something out on your Cricut to you have your Star Command fleet badge or whatever, and that's all you're wearing. Someone will come up to you and point it out and say, hey, I really enjoy that, and you're gonna make a friend. You're gonna talk to somebody.
Oh yeah.
And it's really fun. It's really interesting. And then it really sparks the joy and makes you want.
Oh yeah, it's part of the community.
Makes you want to get more into it and go in depth. There's an older couple that I see. I have a Disney Park Pass. The Disneyland Park Pass, and I go all the time.
You're one of those
I'm
people.
a Disney adult, unashamed. So is my mom. We go all the time, and there's an older couple that we see there all the time. They live in Anaheim, and they go very casual. It's called Disney bounding. That's something anybody ever wants to get into.
Is that is that a rabbit hole I can fall down on YouTube?
Yes.
Disney bounding?
Oh, especially on Pinterest. Get on Pinterest, especially for costuming.
I feel like I'm learning about a new rabbit hole here. This is fascinating.
A lot. You're going to ping pong around the internet. It's going to be a lot of information. But they come and they wear very, very casual clothing, but they fudge it to fit a character or to fit a role. So, the movie Up, the Disney Pixar movie Up, there's an old man and a little boy.
Yeah.
He's tall and she's tiny. So, he wears the old man look. He just is dressing with suspenders and stuff like that, but he's really imbibing himself with the character, and she is dressed like a little kid, and they walk around and instantly it's nothing is branded, everybody, all those pieces could be worn separately on their own as just clothing pieces in your actual wardrobe. but they take the time to make sure that those pieces all match and come together to create a cool
And
character.
then when people recognize it, it's
People ask to take pictures
Yeah, you
all
totally
the time.
appreciate it. Yep.
And then, they come up and they go, wow, where'd you get that? And then you go, I made it.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
people get so interested, and you get a whole new topic of
Oh,
conversation.
yeah. And for the normies out there, Halloween is a good
Halloween. Yeah,
Yeah.
you will have a star-studded Halloween every
But
Halloween.
also interesting is like today's class was supposed to be about making a comfy pullover, which you were going to show us how to throw together with just kind of using an existing sweatshirt.
Super easy.
But it's a practical item of clothing, because I was actually thinking I was going to make one to throw in the Jeep for camping and whatnot. But
Yeah.
so a lot of the ideas that you can learn from costuming and cosplay do translate over to actual real clothes.
Yeah. Oh, I would say more so than ever, because I feel like
Yeah.
anybody who has a quilting experience has a very good basis of
Yeah.
sewing. Probably more so than most people who get into sewing. There's a lot less frustration if you have a really good background,
Yeah.
especially with crunching those materials through your
Yeah.
machine. Sometimes it gets like that in cosplay whenever you get 4 layers deep on something, and
Yeah, so
quilters have the perseverance.
Yeah, so what we were just kind of wanted to get into today was just that that's something we're going to start doing a lot more here at the shop, and we're probably going to try and get on a regular schedule of running some live streams of some different
Yeah.
cosplay wearable type tips and tricks.
Quick tips, more
Yeah.
in-depth stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's just, like I said, it might not be for everybody that watches us on Wednesday, because I do recognize it's a different set of people, but there's a lot of skills and crossover there that I think you might find interesting. If you're into the machine embroidery side, there's a lot of the embroidery stuff does translate over. I see this a lot.
Definitely.
One of the reasons I wanted to get into cosplay a little bit with the MASH is I have people coming through that are cosplayers. They're like, I'm making this. How do I go about getting this logo here? That sort of thing. Different materials. So it's going to be kind of fun. It's a little bit different than what you're used to. But we're hoping that if it's something you're interested in, give us a shout out, like, share, subscribe, and all that, or share it with somebody you may know, because I'm sure you have like grandkids. I feel so bad, but
Bring them with you the next time that you're
because
going to tune in.
when I look at the YouTube stats, like, who's watching? It's just like females over 65.
Our population right here is 65.
Yes.
65 and older. Yeah,
Yes.
bring your grandkids, get them involved. It's
Yeah.
something that you can, 8-year-olds
Yeah.
love to have something to do with their hands. They're ready to get into something.
Yeah.
Sit them down with you, teach them how to make something while you
Yeah.
make the accessory that's going to match the more complicated part. Marry those pieces together. You've had a really good afternoon with
Yeah.
somebody that you love, and they have something that they can actually wear around and think about you while they
Yeah,
wear it.
wear it.
It's always the best part.
I was just thinking.
You got to get cheesy.
Yeah, we're talking about cheesy. Okay, this is going to get me in trouble with my viewers, I'm sure. Is when you go to a quilt convention and you see somebody that has made their quilted vest.
Ooh, quilted clothing is such a big
Yeah, some
thing
of
right
it's-
now.
yeah, some of
It
it's-
is so huge. Balenciaga is
I
getting
know, but it's
into
been
it.
doing it forever, and it's really funny because some of it is so corny it hurts. It's like you see that and you just.
Like somebody's old baby quilt, and they're like, "Look at my nice."
And there's just like this. It's almost like a level of camp to it that I just love. It's so adorable. Like you'll see an entire quilt guild that has all the same quilt. It's adorable, but it just makes me laugh every time I see it.
I love that.
But anyway, there's lots of possibilities, and like I said, the big thing today I just want to introduce Ashley. She was going to teach a class, which wasn't, but we're going to be putting more classes on the schedule that get into wearables and sewing, because like I said, we from a shop standpoint, we hesitated for a long time to get into wearables because there's a whole different kind of business and the stuff we have to carry.
Yeah.
But what's nice is we have Hobby Lobby across the parking lot. So our plan is we're just going to have fun sewing, and you can go to Hobby Lobby to buy your junk for it.
Yeah.
We're going to have fun here at the shop. But we're also going to do some how-tos, and we're just going to have a little bit of fun with it. We'll get a more regular set schedule at some point, but today was just kind of a like, hey, here's Ashley.
This is going to be a thing at some point.
And
yeah.
you said you had a podcast?
Yeah, I have a podcast. It's called The Killer Podcast. You can find it where all podcasts are streamed.
I just
but
figured, I'm going to have to look it up now because it sounds funny.
it's fun. Princess Diana episode was a huge hit. It was a really fun one to do.
So who does the research for your podcast?
We both do. Me and my co-host
Yeah.
Adriana. She's great. She's the one who started it. She was the founder of the podcast. She did it for about a year on her own, and then
Because those true crime podcasts fascinate me, and I'm like,
They're so fun.
The amount of research that you got to put into it,
it's a lot of time.
That's why I can appreciate podcasts. I'm like, podcasts are great to listen to, but I'm like, the work that
It's
must have went into
a
it.
lot of prep. I'll tell you.
Yeah.
You film for 3-4 hours,
Yeah.
but the time you put in beforehand, 16, 17.
Oh, I can believe it, yeah.
Yeah, oof, it's a lot of time, but it's fun.
Okay. Well, anyway, that's all I had today. I just, like I said, just a quick kind of introduction to Ashley to let you know we are going to get into wearables. Are you going to do the close-in, Eddie? I got to come up with a whole new outro for this because you can't say, well, so want to be excellent to each other, I guess it still works. But. And Eddie has an awesome thumbnail. I don't know if he's going to put it up because it's probably politically incorrect in so many ways, but it's awesome. So maybe we'll share that with you. What are we going to call this? I don't know. We'll come up with a name with it. But anyway, in the meantime, so on and be excellent to each other.
Yeah. Drop your ideas below.
Yes, comments and all that below because, like I said, there's a direction we're going. But thanks for watching, and hopefully be seeing more of us.